English as a tool for getting new job opportunities and new chances abroad, right? So today we're going to end it talking about communication. Hi, Aldori. Hello. Hello,
Hi,
everybody.
hello.
Hi. So today we're going to be talking about communication, right? And we're going to use it. We're going to use communication as a tool, just like we use English inside of our workplace, right? So how to communicate with our coworkers, how to talk about something in a presentation, meetings, right? And also emails that I know that you really want to learn this. And I'm here to help you. I'm here to guide you. And everybody that it's on YouTube, welcome as well. We are really pleased to have you all here. And first of all, I want to know from you guys your definition of communication. And if you feel comfortable, you can raise your hand and say it, or you can put on the chat, okay, your definition. A quick definition of communication. What is communication to you guys? Hi,
Mm,
Hannah. Welcome. Artist?
Hi.
an, an intention to pass information or something like that for other other person or a group of people. I don't know.
Yeah, that's really good. Anyone else wants to share? What do you think it's communication?
Maybe the ability to explain your point of view and be understandable by
Nice.
someone else.
Okay, that's also a great definition. And Artis and Renato, you are all correct. Okay, so when we say communication, okay, it's nothing less than a concept, right? Uh, and is the idea of exchanging ideas and thoughts and your beliefs, even, right? To two or more individuals, right? And there are several types of communication. You can do it writing. This writing can be formal, can be informal, right? You can speak to people, so you can use gestures and also symbols, right? Uh, so, good communication is the bridge between confusion and clarity. Let's take a moment to think of this quote, on this quote, to try to understand what this quote means, right? So, if we are, the idea of communication is to exchange ideas, to exchange thoughts, right? If we don't express this in a clear way, it opens opportunity for confusion, right? And I think you know that confusion at the workplace is not a good thing to have, right? So today I'm going to be teaching you how to do this in a clear way, in a healthy way also, right? So as I told you, we have types of communication, and it can be verbal, non-verbal, visual, and written. So let me ask Renato, what is the type of communication that you use the most at your work?
Mainly verbal and written.
Okay, nice. Uh, Afonso, what about you?
Oh, certainly writing and verbal communication.
Mhm. Yes. What about you, Marcelo? I want to know from you. What is the type of communication that you use the most?
I think the written one.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so we have these types of communication, right? Today, we're going to be focusing on verbal and written communication, okay? But of course, nonverbal and visual are also really, really important to communication. Body language, the way that you are going to express yourself with gestures. It's also really important when talking about communication, okay? So, what are the advantages of communicating in an effective way, right? We all know that at a workplace, we need to communicate, to have a clear communication, right? To avoid any confusion, mistakes, it can happen in the workplace. So it reduces miscommunication, right? It increases also the team happiness, because a team that communicates, a team that say what is going on and ask for help when it's necessary, and help each other also when necessary, the team is really happy. And I know that because I work with a really communicative team. We communicate in a really effective way. So we're all always trying to manage any kind of trouble we have, and we can do it really, really amazingly because we communicate in an effective way, right? And we also improve collaboration. So, saying this, what is the guideline? How can we communicate in a good way, right? We have to have some things in mind, which is they are really, really important. And some of them I put here, and I would like to, yes, Artus, can you read one of them, please?
Okay, I will read just the option that I don't agree with the first sentence in the first. Strive for clarity in all your communications.
Mm-hmm. You agree or you disagree with this?
This sentence, okay, I agree, but with the in your first share, in your first page that you show for us, were a sentence that author that I don't agree with this sentence.
Between confusion and clarity.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that when you are precising our communication, don't has chance to miscommunication or not clarity things.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So a good communication is exactly what Arthur has said, right? We have to make it clear. We have to communication is to be clear, is to be understandable. We need to communicate with everybody every day, right? Even with your dog, you have to communicate with him, right? But thanks, Artus. Thank you so much. Next one, I want Afonso. Can you choose one and read, please?
Be mindful of when and what to communicate.
Mm-hmm. And what about you? Do you agree or disagree with this one?
I agree because this is a main problem that perhaps it's occur a lot, not only at our work team, but also in when we are with other people that are from our family instead.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of more than important to think about it.
Yes, yes, really nice. And we also have this. It's a common thing. Some people experiences it on in the workplace, which is, oh, this could have been an email, right? It didn't need to be a meeting or something,
Always.
right? So we need to be aware of what we are communicating and when we are communicating it, right? It's it's not going to look great if you communicate, for example, let's imagine your boss has made a mistake, okay, a pretty, you know, big mistake, All right, let's put it this way. Let's imagine you are on a meeting with your boss and your colleagues, right? And your boss doesn't know that he has made this big mistake, okay? Are you going to communicate that he has done something wrong in that meeting with a lot of other people there and like judging him? Oh, this is your fault. Like, that's not the right thing to do, right? Of course, you can talk to him privately or, schedule a meeting with the team to talk about it. But in a meeting, that the point is not to talk about that. If you say something accusing him or judging, and not only your boss but anyone, it's not going to look nice, right, to you and to your other colleagues. So be mindful of when and what to communicate, right, and how to communicate as well, which is really, really important. So anyone wants to read the last one?
I could read the last one.
Thank you.
As seek to solve conflicts, not create them.
Do you
This
agree
one
or
is very
disagree?
good.
Yeah. Have you ever experienced something like this, Marcelo?
Kinda. Usually when I'm talking with someone, most when I'm meeting someone, I tend to not to bring like bad situations. So I always want to kind of improve the environment,
Yes. Yeah, to
bringing
make
solutions
them.
on or good
Oh,
ideas.
amazing. That's also a really good technique, Marcelo. Thank you for talking about this. That's
Sure.
really amazing. So, um, right now, I want to ask you some questions, okay? And I will start with Renato, but you that is watching you um, on YouTube, you can put on the chat, okay, your answers. And if you guys want, you can also put here and Google Meet. So, Renato, do you have good communication with your team?
I consider that I have a good communication with my team, but in some scenarios, actually, maybe a misunderstanding could occur.
Okay, and it's normal. Okay, misunderstandings are normal to happen. It's okay to happen, but we have to understand how to correct them or how to manage this miscommunication, communicating in a good way after the miscommunication, right? So
Perfect.
we're always having to communicate uh, to or correct a misunderstanding or to communicate a new idea, right? And Artus, have you ever been responsible for leading a meeting or a presentation?
Honestly, I don't remember if I already was, but I know that in my currently moment I don't like to be.
Mm-hmm. But you don't feel prepared to lead the meeting, or you don't like to lead meetings?
Yeah, I don't know if I have the qualifications to lead a meeting in
Mm-hmm.
a group or a group team. I don't like. I don't know. I just prefer to don't be this. Don't do this.
Okay, yes, we there always is space for improvement, right? So if you
Yeah.
don't feel that you are prepared, that's okay. You can learn more, you can study more about communication, how to communicate effectively, and I hope I can help you with this a little bit today, Artis.
Oh yeah. Thank you, teacher.
Amazing. And I want to know from Renato. I know that you have already been responsible for a meeting, and I want you to share your experience with the group here.
Uh, if I put in some tips, the first one is it's do the right preparation about your presentation or your meeting. Know in the best way how your audience communicate and who are your audience. The second tip is practice your presentation and follow your blocks or your pillars that you want to communicate to them. And the third one, every time seek for feedback after your meeting with your
Amazing.
same audience, of course.
Amazing, Renato. Amazing. And that's it. Uh, Leading a meeting or a presentation is something that is really can be really frightening for some people. Of course, you are speaking publicly, right? Um, but it's manageable. We can do this. You can do this. You just have to take it easy and try to prepare it as much as you can of the meeting, of the presentation. Try to practice this. And merchandise here, Speak Now does that amazingly. You can ask for a step plus with your teacher. Okay, so if you have a presentation, if you have a meeting and you want to practice and you want to improve this meeting or this presentation, you can ask your teacher to practice with you. Okay, we're going to be really grateful to help you on that. So moving on. Okay, we're talking about communication and what is a good communication, what are the benefits of good communication, but how to in fact lead a meeting or a presentation, right? We have some steps that we need to follow to have a fluid presentation and meeting, right? um, Always start welcoming your public and introducing yourself. Okay, of course, if it's a meeting like a weekly or a daily that you have with your team at work, you don't need to introduce yourself. But welcoming the public, it's always really good. It's a good start, right? If you start the meeting saying, hey, we have a big problem, people are going to be like, oh my gosh, what should we do now? Like, that's a big problem. How we're going to solve it? The energy, it's going to be like negative. People are going to get negative only by hearing you saying we have a big problem. So you can say that you have a big problem, but not using these words, right? But first, welcome the public. Say hello. Say good morning, good afternoon. How are you doing? Thanks for being here, right? Thank the public for being there. And you can say that, so since we're all here, we're going to start with this, and that. So welcome and introduce yourself, okay? If it's a new public, for example, if it's a new, I don't know, a CEO, a CFO is there on the meeting, it's really nice to introduce yourself with your job position, right? Because let's imagine you work at this company and the CFO is there, okay? But you are and you are saying, so my name is Fulano, and I'm going to talk about this. Okay, but why you are going to talk about this? Why not another person, right? So you need to introduce yourself with your job position. This is what people recommend to do because they need to understand who are you and that you have the ability and the knowledge to be talking about what you're going to be talking, right? So that's another great tip. Introduce yourself with the job position that you have at that moment to avoid, like, who is this person? Why is he telling me this, right? I don't want to hear from him. So prove that you are good in what you're talking, right? You know what you're talking, you know what you're going to be saying there because you're a professional, okay? And of course, avoid informality. Teacher, but it's a daily, it's a weekly. Okay, but you have to remember, always remember that you are inside of a workplace, right? So people can misunderstand you by your attitude. People can judge you because maybe you are too informal for the meeting, right? In the beginning, it's going to sound really strange, like, but teacher, it's a daily. I have to say hello. Thank you for being here. Yes, it's always nice to warm up a little bit before talking about what really matters, right? So avoid informality, okay? And another thing, which is it helps you to have a guide to what do I have to say today, is to have an agenda, okay? Do you know, guys, what is an agenda? Yes? You can put on the chat if you know what is an agenda. And an agenda is the topics that you're going to be discussing on a meeting, okay? So it's really, really important that you have this clearly outlined, okay? And to say to your public what you're going to be addressing at this meeting. So for example, we're going to talk about the new marketing campaign for this year. So you want to say that this is going to be the topic of the meeting, right? Otherwise, people can ask different things. You even can be lost because it can you can come up with several topics which are not that important as the new marketing campaign for this year, right? So set the agenda with your public and before the meeting, right? And some companies, guys, they send an email with a confirmation to the meeting and with the agenda. Okay, so it's normal that some meetings, the people are not going to present the agenda because they have already done this on an email, right? So if your company works this way, that's why they never or not always start the presentation and the meeting talking about the agenda, okay? Because people have already had an email about this, or they have the description of the event on Google Calendar, right? So that's not necessary to say what is the agenda, okay? And answering questions. If your public has questions, you need to answer to them, right? Because it's just like a class. Imagine you're having a step, okay? And you're not, I'm not going to ask my teacher this. I'm going to seek information on Google after. Google may give you a wrong definition for that word. Google Translator does this every time, right? So always ask. If you have any questions, ask, okay? And if you are leading the meeting, you have to answer, okay? In the clearest way possible. Try to be clear, try to be objective, okay? Try to be direct, okay? To help the people who has difficulties on understanding, to make it clear, to make it, oh, okay, now I got it. All right. Any questions here, guys? Is everything okay? So moving on, all right? How to welcome, how to introduce yourself, how to set the agenda and everything. So I'm going to give you some examples now how to do this, okay? First, on the welcoming part, you can always say a good morning, a good afternoon, Okay, good night, as we all know, good night is only when you're going to sleep. So avoid using good night. Okay, say good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Okay, good night, no, good night only when you go to sleep. Okay, and welcome and say thank you, right? So I would like to welcome everyone, or I'd like to thank everyone for coming today. It's a nice way to show that the people there are important, and you are okay, you're pleased with this, with them being there with you. Okay, and as I told you, introducing yourself is a really important part. So I'm going to ask Afonso, can you read the first one, please?
Yeah. Welcome. Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon. I'd like to welcome everyone, or I'd like to thank everyone for coming today.
Yes, yes, thank you. Marcelo, can you read the introducing yourself part, please?
Sure. I am your name, and I'm Marcelo, and I will be
Yes,
leading this meeting today.
yes. Don't say I am your name in the meeting, okay, Marcelo?
Okay. I,
Uh,
I am a front-end developer, and we are here to discuss about.
Perfect, perfect. So introducing yourself and introducing yourself with the job position, it's like two different meetings. If you're introducing yourself, it's to your maybe your weekly meeting, but a different person, right? Say your job position to explain uh, why is that you that is going to be leading the meeting. Okay. Next one, setting the agenda. How can we set the agenda? Renato, can you read for me, please?
Yes. Today I would like to outline our plans for. I've called this meeting in order to. We're here today to discuss.
Perfect. So using these are examples. Okay, guys, you can find, you can change it if you think it's necessary. Nice to have these sentences ready in your mind, just to avoid forgetting. Oh, how can I set the how that I'm going to be setting the agenda instead of saying, hey guys, I'm going to tell you the agenda for this meeting, right? To not be that informal. Remember, we're here trying to avoid informality, okay? So all of this has a different tone, okay? It's a more formal than casual. So answering questions, okay? And this one, it's really nice because you can also at this when you are answering questions, to start to get the questions, you can say so. Any final thoughts before we close the meeting? To ask if someone has any questions or any other ideas that can help on the project, or on the topic that is being discussed, right? So let me ask to Teacher Igor. No, sorry, Artus, can you read for me, please?
Of course. Uh, if you have further questions or want to discuss any of it in more detail, we can meet privately or you can send me an email. Are there any objections to what I covered?
Mm-hmm. So in this way, you are communicating that, okay, if you don't want to discuss this here, you're able to you can send me an email, okay, and I'm going to answer you. Maybe you don't want to mention your doubt publicly and you want to do it privately, you can send an email. So it shows that you are open to help this person out of the meeting, right? Some people tend to feel embarrassed to ask something. So with this, you avoid people not understanding and being this way, right? So we always want to clarify everything, especially in the workplace. We know uh, how the communication is important inside of the workplace, right? So now the part that we're always trying to pull our hair out of our heads, right? Which is an email. Teacher, I don't know how to write an email in Portuguese. How will I write the email in English? So I'm here to clear all of your doubts. I'm here to solve all of your problems, right? So we're going to have some things to help us on the structure of the email, right? So it's really nice to have like a model on your head how to create this. First, you have to be really clear on your subject line, which is the topic of the email, the catchphrase that is going to be up there, right? So if the email it's talking about a meeting, put on the subject line that about the meeting on Friday, or meeting on Friday, okay, confirming meeting, or something like this. Just so when the people receive this email, they're going to know if it's urgent, if it's not urgent, if they can read another day, or if they have to read it right now, and what is it about, right? Of course, the body of the email, it needs to be clear, it needs to be specific. Try not to put a lot of information and different information inside of email. And if you do this, put in topics, right? Put these in topics, because it's going to help the person that is reading your email to have more clarity on what are the things that you're mentioning on this email, okay? What are the things that I cannot miss on this email? What do I have to really pay attention to? So separating in topics is also a good strategy. And to have a good closing and a signature, always with your contact, email, cell phone number, and all of these things, okay? So let me show you how to do it properly. So as I was telling you, the subject line, okay? Try to be as simple as possible, okay? Keep in mind that it's going to be the first thing the people will read on your email. It's the thing that is going to call their attention, okay? So you want to be really informative and concise, right? So Marcelo, could you read please the tips there?
Of course. Keep it concise and informative. Clearly state the purpose or main topic of the email. Examples: meeting request for Friday, project update needed, or follow up on client discussion.
Mm-hmm. Let's imagine you receive an email and it's written on the subject line. Hey, I have a doubt. Can you please answer me before, I don't know, Tuesday next week, because it's really important, blah, blah. It's a huge subject line. People are going to be, oh, it's spam. Like, put on the trash. They're not going to read your email. So try to be informative, okay? The salutation, how you're going to respectfully greet the person that you're going to send the email. Afonso, would you like to read, please?
Of course. Salutation. Use a respectful greeting. If you know the person well, like dear blah blah blah, dear Mylene, dear Marcelo, is appropriate. For more formal or initial contact, consider titles like Mr. or Mrs. or Doctor.
Mm-hmm. So if you are sending an email to your colleague, to your coworker, okay, and you talk to this coworker every day, you're like friends out of the workplace. So yeah, you can say, hello, Igor. Hello, Alanis. And that's okay. But let's imagine that's not the case. Let's imagine that It's just a regular coworker that you don't have a lot of contact during the day. Okay, so of course you're going to say, Mr. Roberto. Okay, you're going to start in a respectful way, showing that you understand that you are not friends, that's not casual, and this is a formal situation. Okay, next one, the opening. The opening part of your email, right? What is going to be discussed? So you have to tease and say, oh, so I hope this email finds you well. Okay, I hope I hope you're doing great. Say something like this. All right, so you can be formal but not like a robot. Okay, we're not robots. We want to have the communication as clear as possible, but not as robots. Okay, we're humans. So, Renato, would you like to read, please, the opening part?
Of course. Opening. Start with a polite and brief introduction. Clearly state the reason for your email. Example, I hope this email finds you well. I am writing to discuss.
And then you put the topic of your discussion. I'm writing to discuss about our new marketing campaign for 2024. I'm writing to discuss the opportunity to work with you, with your company, and blah, 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 right? So this is the first contact you're going to have with the person after the subject line. So you want to show that you are polite, but you don't want to be like, oh my gosh, nice to talk to you. I'm so happy to be sending you this email. No, that's not going to work. Okay. Again, avoid informality. Okay. And the body of the email. The body is where has the really important information. Okay. So what are you going to be addressing on the email, and how this is going to be addressed? That's really important on the body of the email. So, Atus, would you like to read, please?
Yep. Organize your thoughts into clear and concise paragraphs. Stick to the main points and avoid unnecessary details. Use bullet points or numbered lists for clarity. Be mindful of the recipient's time.
Yes, that's also a great tip. Don't send like a gigantic email. Try to be as clear and concise as possible. Okay, try to really attain to the most important topics, what you really need to share with this person. Okay, so don't overshare. Okay, oversharing is not good, as teacher Alanis told you and teacher Igor told you yesterday. So that's not good. Oversharing too much at work, especially, that's not nice, especially with these email, which they are really formal. So stick to the main points. Okay, avoid that little details. Remember, this could have been an email. Yes, don't make the email into a meeting. If you have a lot of details to be discussed, it's not going to be discussed in an email. You're going to need a meeting for that. Okay, so some people avoid meetings. So if you're trying to avoid meetings, write a good body of the email. All right, so you can avoid it. And of course, be mindful of the recipient's time. If you're going to send an email to your boss, if you send a long email, we know probably he or she is not going to read it entirely. It's going to use the dynamic reading, as we all use. It's okay to use it. But if the email is important, be sure that he or she is not going to read all of that. Okay, so be concise, be really, really straight to the point. Okay, the attachments. Oh my gosh, the attachments that are never there, right? So make sure that you have the attachment there before saying that you have attached the file to the email. Okay, please make sure that you have the attachment. Otherwise, you're going to have to create another email to send the attachment. We're trying to avoid that, right? So Marcelo, would you like to read the attachments?
Okay, if relevant, mention any attachments and ensure they are included. Briefly describe the content of attachments if necessary. Example, the requested document is attached to this email. Enclosed in this information you asked for, or you will find the attachment below.
Mm-hmm. I want to know from you guys, how many of you have written an email sending, oh, and the requested document is attached to this email, and the attachment was not there? I really want to know that, because I have done this several times. So know that it's normal, okay? It's not a shame, it's not embarrassing, but we have to pay really attention to it, right? Have any of you sent an email with the attachment and it was not there?
Sometimes, teacher, sometimes
Sometimes.
because yes, when I need to send some information about something or some photos or or even the text, it's important to attach these documents, and sometimes I'm just so necessity to
To
lack
send
of
it.
time that I forget everything. So it's important to send another email with these
The attachment.
the attachment. Yes,
Yeah.
it's so embarrassing, but it's always something that occur.
Yeah, as I told you, it's normal. Sometimes, I don't know, something happens and the attachment was supposed to be there and it's not there. Or sometimes you just forget, right? You're writing like automatically and you'll find the attachment below, and the attachment is not below and not even above, right? The attachment is nowhere to find. So try to make sure actually that the attachment is there. Please, let's avoid sending multiple emails, right? Any other one? Renato, Marcelo, Arthur, have you ever had this experience, guys?
Sometimes
Sometimes, yeah.
I have, but thanks to the technology, some providers, once you write, find the attachment, some providers just prompt a message, attention message that, oh, do you want to send this email? And you wrote that the email has an attachment, but I can't find any
Where
attachment.
is it?
Where's the attachment?
Amazing. I didn't know that. That's amazing. That's really incredible. Oh my gosh. And the tone of the email, right? Remember, it's a professional environment, it's a professional email. Okay. Teacher, but I'm not sending this email to someone of my company. I'm sending this email to a company that, I don't know, to Nestle. I brought a chocolate bar of Nestle and the bar was not good. And you have to send an email there. It's not professional, but it's not informal, right? So it's always formal. Most of the times, emails are formal. It's a formal way of communicating. Other than that, you could have used WhatsApp or Teams. Microsoft Teams has something like that. There is something called Slack. Some companies use this system. So every company has informal communication tool to use, right? But most of the times when you need to make an information formal and official, you use the email. So be aware of the tone of the email, okay? Artus, would you like to read?
Maintain a professional and courteous tone throughout. Avoid using overly casual language unless your relationship with the recipient permit, permits it.
So if you're sending an email to a friend that you don't see for a long time, or to your coworker, remember that is already your friend. You don't have to be that formal, okay? But if it's an official email, make it formal, okay, guys? The closing of the email, how to properly end the email. Do you say bye bye, talk to you later? No, we're trying to avoid that. So, how to do that? Marcelo, would you like to read?
Yeah. Summarize the main points if necessary. Clearly state any actions required or expected. Express appreciation for the recipient's time and consideration. Examples: thank you for your attention to this matter, or I look forward to hear from you.
That's it. This last one, it's commonly used, right? I look forward to hearing from you. So this is something. These examples that I'm giving you is just to have a model in your head, right? So when you're going to write an email, you have these sentences, these pre-made sentences that you can fit in every email, okay? And the last one, the signature, that you have to put your name and the information for the contact, right? So Renato, would you like to read it?
Of course. Signature. Include a professional closing. For example, sincerely, best regards, kind regards. Sign off with your full name and your position/title. Provide your contact information if not included in your email signature.
Mm-hmm. So always have your position, okay, your job title there. Uh, as I told you, if you're sending this email, people must know who you are and why are you talking to them about that, right? So it's really important to introduce yourself with your job title and job position. Okay? Any questions here, guys? Everything okay? And the last one, last but not least, proofread. Remember the attachment we're talking about before? Make sure that it's there. Yeah, not only the attachment you need to confirm if it's there, but also to see if the words are written in a correct way, if the grammar is okay, if the spelling is okay, if it's clear. If you read your email again and you don't understand something and you have to, oh, wait, what did I just said? And you have to reread it again, that's not good. So you please erase it and try to write it again in a more clear way, okay? So Afonso, can you read the proofread?
Proofread. Before sending, proofread your email for grammar, spelling, and clarity. Ensure that the tone is appropriate for a professional setting.
That's it. So guys, these were my tips, okay, to writing an email, communicating in an effective way. And I'm going to share with you the link for this activity, okay, which is you're going to have a model of an email, okay, and you're going to use this module to create an email talking about a job opportunity, okay? So use all these techniques that Teacher Alanis has taught you and Teacher Igor as well, and what you have acquired here during this entire workshop, this 3-day event, and I'm sure you're going to be able to nail it in the best way possible, right? Because you have been through all of the parts of the selective process, right? You have talked about with Teacher Mylene's cover letter and resume. Then Teacher Igor yesterday told you what to do and what not to do in a job interview. And now that you were hired, you have to communicate with your team, with your boss, right? So now is the time to try it out. Okay, let me send you the link to that. But if you're watching us live on YouTube, there is the link attached to the just kidding. There is the link down there, and you're going to find the exercise. Okay, so guys, thank you for being here. I really loved to be leading today here. It's really important that everybody knows how to communicate, and to communicate in a good way, right? In a healthy way. So I have that quote there, which and it's from Barack Obama, right? So it's important to make sure that we're talking with each other in a way that heals, not in a way that wounds. Okay, so be mindful of the things that you say, when you say it, and how you say it. Okay, I hope I helped you with some tips. All right, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you all in the next event, in the next classes. Okay,
Okay.
bye guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
See you guys. Bye.
See you.
Bye bye. See ya.
Bye bye, guys. See ya.
Thanks.